Okay. How many do we have in here? Okay, I guess we will go ahead and get started. Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here today. I'm Mindy Lee. I'm the State Marketing Manager with the Kansas Small Business Development Center. And today we're going to be discussing some COVID-19 marketing tips for boutiques and retail businesses. So with several states, including Kansas, slowly reopening their economies through multi-phase processes, it's really important that businesses learn how to start thinking about how they're going to connect and communicate with their customers during this sort of new reality. So this webinar is going to cover some of those really basic marketing tips, and then we're going to kind of go into a discussion with a guest panelist that we have today. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So we're going to talk a little bit, before I get into the presentation, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Kansas Small Business Development Center. For those who are not familiar with us, we are the state advising resource for the small business owner. And our mission is to increase economic prosperity in Kansas by helping entrepreneurs and small business owners start and grow their business. And a majority of our services come at no cost as a result of support from the U.S. Small Business Administration, the state of Kansas, higher education institutions, and other local and regional partners. Now, for the local branch that we are presenting from, the Pittsburg State University branch of the SBDC, we serve 11 counties in Southeast Kansas, and we have 3 full-time staff who work out of our office. We have Randy Robinson, who is our regional director, Dacia Clark, our assistant director, and then myself as the state marketing manager. And then we are also partnered with the Montgomery County Action Council in Independence, Kansas, and our employee over there is Tricia Purdon, who is the executive director of economic development. So a little bit of a roadmap of what we're going to be talking about today. First, we're going to kind of discuss some things that you should think about and consider before marketing to your customers. And then we're going to talk about the 3 main types of customers that you're going to encounter during this transition period as you kind of start opening up your stores. Then we're going to discuss marketing your business message. And then we're going to have a discussion with our guest panelists, who is Sydney Anselmi, the owner of Audacious Boutique located here in Pittsburgh. Businesses have been interrupted by a lot of things lately, but we've noticed that with Audacious Boutique and Sydney and her team, they have adapted pretty well to the situation. So we're going to have a discussion with her on kind of what are some things that they're doing within their business to still communicate, connect with their customers, and still move product off the shelves. So what to do before marketing to your customers. Before you begin marketing to your customers, it's really imperative to let them know that what you're doing to support their health, safety, and well-being. So you really want to think about the following questions below and how you're going to address them. The first being, how are you going to clean your workplace or your building differently? So are you going to be sanitizing doors and counters more often? Are you going to set up hand sanitizing stations? What are the extra steps you're going to take to ensure that you have a clean and healthy work environment for people to come into? Next, we're going to discuss kind of how you're going to protect your customers and your staff. So are you going to require that your staff members wear masks? Are you going to check temperatures before they come in for the day? So we know that there are some businesses who are doing this currently. They actually check their staff's temperatures before they come in for their shift. And if it hits a certain point, I think the one I've heard about most often is 100 degrees, then they send them home. And they're set to be at home for about 2 weeks as kind of a self-quarantine, just to make sure that they're not sick. So those are some things to think about. Are you going to be checking temperatures, making them wear masks? How are you going to address and ensure social distancing in your business? And are you going to limit the number of customers in the store? Now, I know that as far as mass gatherings are concerned, it's still in Kansas limited, I believe, to 10 or less. And then in phase 2, it will be 25 or less. So you want to kind of think about how many customers you're going to limit in the store and how you're going to approach that. And then you want to think about special shopping hours for higher risk or elderly customers. So are you going to have a special time set aside before or after opening to make sure that these higher risk customers can come in, they can shop at their leisure and not worry about people from the general public coming in. So grocery stores in particular are doing this a lot. They have that special 1 hour set aside before they open where higher risk customers can come in and shop. So it's something to consider. Is that something that you're planning on doing for your business? And if so, how are you going to approach that? So there are 3 main types of customers that you're going to run into during this transition period. The first are going to be people who will just kind of go back to how things used to be. They'll ignore social distancing. They won't take those extra precautions. It's going to be business as usual for them. Now, when you have them in your store, you will have those extra guidelines and precautions set in place. So when you have these types of customers coming in, you're going to want to think about how you will address if any of those customers ignore those precautions, ignore those extra safety measures that you're putting in place. How are you going to approach them and make sure that they follow those guidelines at least while they're in your store? And then you will have people who will want to start getting back to doing normal things again, but they will still remain pretty cautious. So this is the group, those points earlier about the things that you want to think about before marketing. This is that group that you're really pushing that message to, because they will want to know how you're cleaning your store, how you're ensuring social distancing guidelines, how you're going to protect your staff, how you're going to protect the customers. What are those extra steps you're going to take to make sure that it is a safe place for them to come in? And then you will have the last group, and these are people who are still going to be very concerned, extra cautious. They will not go inside your store no matter what precautions you take. So these are the customers that will require extra services such as curbside pickup, local delivery, and shipping. If you are already doing those services, you will want to continue to do those services to meet the demands of this group. And if you aren't doing those currently, then that's something that you will want to consider doing, because that is going to probably be about 1/3 of your customer base moving forward. So marketing your business message. You want to make sure that you are proactively sharing information through your email, your website, your Facebook page, however you typically connect with your customers. This is how you'll want to proactively share information with them as well. You don't want to wait until you get a bunch of questions in. Just make sure that you are proactively putting out what you're doing, extra steps you're taking, what your hours of operation are, how you're changing up things in your business. Make sure that you're putting that out there proactively before you get a bunch of questions. You also want to update your Google business listing. So side note, if you don't have a Google business listing, please contact me, and you will have my contact information at the end of the presentation. But it's the most basic thing you should have for your business. Even if you don't have a website, you should at least have a Google business listing. They're free to get. But if you do have one, you want to make sure that you're updating your hours of operations if those have changed. You can also create a Google post that updates customers on your temporary business operations. So for example, if you're going to be providing curbside pickup and that's a service that you've never provided before, then you can communicate that in your Google post. And in order to be responsive and transparent during this time, you want to prepare for incoming questions and then prepare a list of responses to those questions. So you're going to have a list of questions that you are probably going to be asked multiple times. And that of course includes when are you open? What are you doing about social distancing? How are you cleaning your store? Are you providing extra services for customers who are high risk or don't want to come inside? So these are questions you will probably get over and over again. So it's important and probably a good idea to prepare a list of responses for those questions. And in your responses, you want to provide as much detail and reassurance as possible. And if you have a website, you might consider having a COVID-19 FAQ page put up. So for that list of questions and answers that you're probably going to get pretty often, it's good to have that listed on your website so people can find that information quickly and easily. And even if you don't have a website, you actually can create a Google document and put all of your FAQs in there, and then you can share that. So you actually can set it to where no one can edit that document except for you, but you can share it publicly so people can still view that information. So even without a website, it's still really easy to keep that information updated and online. Now, when it comes to the different types of customers, 2/3 of them are still going to be very concerned about this pandemic. They're going to be taking extra precautions. They're going to be, they're going to be weary of a lot of things. So when you're marketing your business, when you're selling products, when you're talking about the coronavirus, you kind of want to be, very careful in what your stance is. So you want to be neutral and supportive. You don't want to seem like you're capitalizing on the pandemic. That just looks bad for everybody. So some words that you might consider using is, contribute, connect, navigate, cope. These are all positively associated words that you can use in your branding message. You don't want to use words like capitalize, advantage, offer, gain, and you want to be careful with words like opportunity and make the most of, because during this time, people are feeling pretty vulnerable. So you want to make sure that you are presenting yourself with empathy and transparency. And brands that use this time to be commercially exploitative will not fare very well. And you don't want to alienate anyone in your messaging, and you still want to have very positive, not saying that you can't have a sense of humor, because when we talk to Sydney here in a little bit, any of their Facebook Live videos that they do, they're able to be funny and witty, and it's still, it's still very personable, but you want to make sure that you have a fine line between being funny and humorous and empathetic and transparent and being exploitative and trying to take advantage or capitalize on a pandemic right now. So just something to keep in mind when you are marketing your business. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in with our guest panelist, Sydney Anselmi. So Sydney, just a quick introduction, is the owner of Audacious Boutique in Pittsburgh. And after working for 4 years in roles for the SBDC and in economic development for Pittsburgh State University, she decided she had the knowledge and tools to become a small business owner herself. When the opportunity came to purchase Audacious from its previous owner, she put those skills to work and has completed her first year in business. Congratulations on that, Sydney. Anselmi and her husband, Jacob, both operate small businesses and both hold master's degrees in communication from PSU. Sydney, thank you so much for joining us today and taking time out of your day to be here.
Hi, thank you. So excited to be part of it. I was taking notes too, just little things that I can be doing. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you so much for being here. So before we kind of jump right in, we were going to show a clip of how you do, so something that you do at Audacious are these Facebook Live sale events, and we're going to show a clip of that. But as you know from our run through before this, the audio was not working. So
yeah.
We're not able to actually show that today, but everyone will get a copy of that when they get a copy of the presentation so they can see how that works. But can you kind of give us a quick rundown of how you operate your Facebook Live sale events? What are they? What do they entail? Kind of what does that process look like?
Yeah, so a lot of, if you follow different boutiques across the country, both some that are completely online, like they don't have a storefront, they operate as an online boutique, and some that maybe have both, or even those that are just brick and mortar. This isn't something I'd ever seen before I joined the boutique world, but they do live sales. And a lot of people have done these for a very long time. We never had, because we didn't, being in my first year of business, it just didn't seem like a priority at the time, and trying to figure out the mechanics of it didn't seem like feasible or necessary before the pandemic. But when we realized that this was going to be obviously a major concern and something that we were going to contend with, we quickly started going live on Facebook and doing live sales. Now, we've done live videos before. We usually broadcast a What's New Wednesday where we showcase new product, but the live sale itself is where you basically go on Facebook Live at a set time, you broadcast it to your customers, you let them know. Some people create events, and you say, hey, join us for this live sale. You'll be on your couch. We're going to go live, and we're going to show you things and products for a certain price. And you will comment on there and let us know, do you want it in a certain size? Do you want it in a certain color? That kind of thing. So we number them so that they're easy to keep track of ahead of time. We make a list. So they'll be like, item 1 is a snakeskin kimono, and I have sizes small, medium, and large, or I only have medium and large left. So that's a good way to make it a deal for your customers, kind of like last chance. So I was bringing my sale rack to them, basically. And there are a lot of different tips and tricks to do this. We have just been invoicing by hand. There is a product called Comet Sold that it is a paid subscription service, but they handle all the processing fees. and the orders, and it makes it a little bit more streamlined. But as of right now, we've been kind of doing it what I call the freeway. And so they all make comments. I have someone watching the live feed. So my store manager watches the live feed. She takes the orders, and then I send my invoices via PayPal. As soon as they pay, we ship. Or for our local customers, what we've been doing is porch delivery or scheduling a time for pickup.
Okay, so then you have kind of a list of the items. They have an item number, size, and then people just comment on the live video what item number they want, what size they want, and then your store manager takes note of all that, and then you just send those invoices out.
Yeah, so they comment their email too, because through PayPal, you need an email address. So, and that also allows me to capture their emails, and then I use MailChimp to send out emails with like coupons or that kind of thing. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll say, hey, join us for our live sale. You don't have, if you don't buy anything because, you know, maybe the items aren't your taste, sometimes I send like a $5 off coupon or a $10 off coupon to redirect them to my website later. And those have been good things too. So I know that they're watching, they're gaining the exposure, and then they just comment with their email before they even decide to order anything. And then I send them a coupon later, and then they're part of my mailing list.
That's awesome. How, I know that your business, like many businesses, have had a lot of interruptions in sales. There's been a lot changing and a lot going on. So how have these live sales helped? So like compared to before all of this, before the pandemic, when you had like a normal day, compared to what your sales were during a normal day, have these online events helped you move a pretty decent amount of product? How, considering the circumstances, are you still doing pretty well in your sales?
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, sales are definitely, I'll be honest, they're down because my customer base has typically been a in-person brick and mortar type person. We have shipped orders in the past and maybe taken credit card info via PayPal, like, you know, sent them an invoice via PayPal or Venmo or over the phone, and we've shipped things. But I actually didn't have a website until this year. And it was kind of one of those things that it was like, okay, 2020, we're going to launch a website. We're going to make it really slow. Like we'll ease into it, and it'll just be kind of like another service channel, but not our primary one. And of course, then in March, it was like, oh no, this is the primary channel. So a lot of our focus shifted to that. And a big thing has been training our current customers to become online customers, because right now they're not. They're used to popping in the store, shopping, getting it, and being on their way. So the live sales have helped to bridge that gap. They get to connect with us on social media like they always have. They get to see us, they get to hear us talking about the product, they get to see the product, and then they can order that way. And then if they decide to go to the website later, that's awesome. But it's helped us to boost those weekly sales, because like I said, I wasn't an online focus until the pandemic hit, and I'm still training my customer base to go online, you know? And so the live sales have helped bridge that gap, and they've added a good boost. I mean, there's some days that I'm like, hey, this live sale paid the rent for this month, which is awesome. So then everything on, you know what I mean? You just kind of have those little milestones, you know, where it's like, hey, this paid the store manager salary. Sweet. And so it's helped to do that and to bring awareness to us and direct them. And it's also, I think, a way to bring your store experience online. So I hope that when people come into Audacious, they enjoy being around us, they enjoy seeing us, they enjoy hearing us educate them about the product. And you don't get that through a website. You know, it's a lot of, you can, you know, it's branded, it's colorful, it's got images, but this is a way to connect with them, and it's funny and it's encouraging, and they get to see us. You mentioned like my husband has helped me with the last couple because I couldn't be with my store manager. We were worried about spreading, you know, any kind of potential symptoms and that kind of thing. So my husband's been helping me, and they've gotten to see our banter and just being kind of ourselves and being funny. And I think that that's helped to bring that kind of store experience to the customer, because they're not getting out. So being able to see us, hear us, interact with us is a good distraction, I hope.
Yeah, and I was gonna say it's a shame we weren't able to get the video to work, because I was honestly shocked Jacob was able to put together a pretty decent outfit.
It's very good, yeah.
Yeah, he did really well. But we will, again, for those of you who are attending and get a copy of the presentation, you will have a link to that. And we will also include a link to the full live event so they can see how the whole process works from beginning to end. How often are you doing these live sales? Is it every week, every 2 weeks?
We've been doing it once a week right now, and we are planning to continue. I didn't have a sale this week because I was we knew that it was potential May 4th. The other thing is I had a product. I kind of created a subscription box. I see you have it pictured for Mother's Day and graduation. So I was promoting that. And I kind of needed to, since we are going to reopen the storefront, take stock of my inventory and kind of know, okay, what needs to move, what is new, what can I put out, all that kind of thing. So I waited this week, but next week on Monday, we're going to reopen our store hours. We, just like you said, we are encouraging curbside pickup so people don't have to come in the store. I'm taking my employees' temperatures as they come in to make sure that they're good. All of that kind of stuff is happening. And I'm going to continue to do the live sales. If we get to a point where the things are kind of quote unquote normal, I'll probably move to doing them maybe every other week or a couple times a month, just to add just a level of fun, just a different store event. But for now, I am going to continue to do them weekly. And since I am going to be in the store from my normal business hours, people can pick up easier. I don't have to go drive around and deliver it. Hopefully some people are returning to work so they can swing by on their lunch or on their way after work. But the other thing is I have actually gained new customers that aren't even in Kansas through these live sales. And so if I quit doing them, I run the risk of losing their business too. Because one thing to think about is I have had friends that I have shipped things to that they said, I ordered from you and it got here quicker than my order from Amazon. So right now is a really good time for rural America to kind of get ahead, because I am able to leave my house. I'm able to ship orders. I'm able to send to the post office. And some of these maybe more name brand places aren't able to do those things that fast. So now is the time, I have customers in Virginia, out east on the East Coast, Maryland, Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota. And
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, I do some like paid marketing through Facebook and Google and that kind of thing, but otherwise, I don't know how they found me, but they tune in and watch my live sales. So I want to continue to keep their business. So for me, there's really no going back. We're going to have to incorporate it into our brick and mortar day-to-day business.
That's wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Getting all those
it's wild.
The Kansas area.
Yeah.
So you said that you are offering curbside pickup. Are you doing it just during a certain time of day people can come by, or is it just pretty much during any normal business hours?
So my website, so previously I had certain hours of the day because we weren't going to be in the store all day, every day. So I did it from 10 to 2 during normal days, because I kind of figured no one was at work, no one was going to work, but I thought that might be the time that if you needed to go to the grocery store, if you were picking up lunch or something, you could swing by the store and do store pickup. Like I said, I also did a lot of, from the live sales, I did porch deliveries because it was hard to coordinate that big of a group, and like, if I had 50 orders, I'm not going to contact 50 people and be like, hey, when can you come to the store? So that was for the live sale. Now on my website, and a lot of e-commerce websites will do this, in your shipping options, you can choose a local pickup option. And when you select that, mine at least, I don't know, I mean, everyone's is different. Mine lets me set times that they can select a pickup. And it also lets me select how much lead time I need to prepare the order. So now that we're going back to my regular business hours, you can pick it up between regular business hours. You can schedule a time, and I'll make sure if you select 1 p.m. on Thursday, your order will be ready by 1 p.m. Thursday. And it also has a thing where it allows me to email and let people know, hey, your order is ready for pickup. So if it's ready earlier, then they can come earlier. And what we're going to do is we just have a chalkboard. We're going to put the chalkboard near the parking spaces and say, call with the store number to let us know you're here, and we'll bring your order out to you.
That's awesome. So in addition to our discussion, I know there are a lot of retail shops and boutiques who are maybe struggling to kind of find their footing right now. So in addition to what we talked about, do you have any additional kind of words of wisdom or advice for maybe some smaller retail shops that are kind of having a little bit of difficulty right now? What are some tips, some things that maybe they can do to kind of move in the right direction?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think that you kind of have to have a positive mindset. Not to say that I haven't had days where I didn't feel like getting out of bed and I thought the world was ending and all that kind of stuff, but you think about it like it's really not about you. My mantra, at least, is it's not about me, it's about my customers. And like I said, before COVID-19, to me, I wanted Audacious to be a place where you came in, you felt good shopping, you enjoyed shopping, you had a great experience, and you enjoyed being there. So when I when we transitioned to online, I still wanted it to be that place. So it's like you said, I didn't use like doom and gloom language. I didn't try and capitalize on it. I just wanted to genuinely be a place for people to escape. That if they wanted to go on my website, if they came on my social media pages, that they got that experience they felt when they were in the store. And that's really important to me. So when I ship things, for instance, I always include a handwritten note. I have a local printer print them for me. They were really cheap. I include like a sticker or a scrunchie or some little sample or freebie just to say thank you and, wrap their order. I have cute, bright, colorful mailers, and I send it because then when they open it, that's like bringing Audacious to their store, to their home, so they have that feeling of I'm being cared for, I'm important, I'm all these different things. But on the flip side, I think too, in your marketing, just be yourself and be genuine. That's what people are really looking for. Right now, a lot of us are feeling starved for connection because we're not interacting with other people. So the more that you can be yourself and be genuine, I think that that's important. And if you don't feel comfortable doing a live sale, if that's just not your thing, or you're not comfortable with a couple different things, my customers have not been interested in doing FaceTiming, like, doing a video call to shop the store. But then another boutique in town, I know that she does FaceTime appointments like all day long. So it really kind of depends on your customer base. Mine, I think, are my customers are usually between like 18 and 50, 55. And so that is, pretty tech savvy group. They know how to navigate a website. They can social sell, linking your Facebook, your store pages with your Facebook and Instagram. But if it's an older demographic or a less tech savvy demographic, or maybe you haven't had those channels in place before, offer to video call them, show them around the store, just anything that can provide them some connection to you.
And this is stuff that not just boutiques, but any shop selling products can offer these same services. You don't have to just be selling clothes and jewelry, but a lot of other products that you're selling out of your store, you can use these same tactics.
Yeah. My mother-in-law works for a car dealership up in Johnson County, and they like FaceTime people to sell cars. So, it's still happening, it's just about the experience. And I think the biggest thing is if you can think of how can I take care of my customer? How can I anticipate their needs? What are they needing right now? And how can I meet those? That's been a big thing too with my, I bought all this inventory. I typically go to markets, and I bought a lot that planned for, Easter dresses, graduation outfits, banquet outfits, all those typical end of the year, spring, summer events. And so sometimes if I've had vendors that are shipping, I've modified my order or canceled or changed things because I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be able to sell this super fancy dress, but you know what I can sell? A romper that's like made of like, or a jumpsuit that's like comfortable and you could take a nap in. You know what I mean? So kind of shifting your focus to that, I've had to cancel some things and I'm like, no one's ever going to wear that, to like today, like what I've got on, it's like, okay, I can wear a t-shirt, but if I put this cute kimono on, then I look good for my Zoom call, so things like that people are like, it'll make me look cute, but I don't have to, you don't see what's on underneath, so I can be in my PJ pants. So
yeah, this is the most dressed up I've been in 6 weeks.
Yeah. And a lot of people, it's, you could be wearing your PJs on bottom, no one cares, no one knows.
Yeah, no.
So things like that, like you kind of had to, for me, I've had to change some of what I have, what I typically would carry in the spring to be like, what are people caring about? Like, what can I get? Or marketing that to them. Like a lot of my sale items that maybe came from the wintertime that I was trying to move out. I'm like, this sweater is super cozy. It's really great for lounging around, whereas maybe a month ago I was like, oh, this would be the best holiday party dress, or holiday party sweater. It's like now you kind of shift your, the way you say things, we try not to make captions like, on our social media. We're like, perfect for girls' night out, because you're not having girls' night out. So you probably, maybe it'd be like, this dress is perfect for, virtual brunch on Sunday, things like that, just to kind of meet them where they're at.
Kind of adapting and changing your message based on the current situation, because things are changing so much, it's hard to keep up. I don't know what day of the week it is most of the time. So
Exactly. I thought it was Saturday at first.
So thank you so much again for being here and for answering our questions. And if you have time, we can stick around. I think we have a few Q&A questions. Is Daisha, are you on?
I am on, and I don't see any questions on my end. Do you have one? Are you?
Let's see. We've got some stuff in the chat. Yeah, we don't have any questions right now. If anybody has any questions, you have the Q&A option at the bottom. Just shoot them our way. And of course, I mean, I don't know what your availability is, Sydney, or how
yeah. So our email is on there, and then you can contact me via social media too.
Oh, we have our first question. Okay, how long do you give customers to pay in a live sale, Sydney?
I typically give 48 hours. Some people, a lot of other businesses will do 24 hours after the sale. Like after you've sent the invoice, they'll give them 24 hours to pay it. I've done 48 for now, because again, it's like some people, I send them an invoice via PayPal. Maybe they don't have PayPal. Maybe they use something else. And so I give them a little bit of time to figure that out. But doing mine through PayPal, it also gives you an option to remind them. And so typically what I'll do is after 24 hours, I'll send a reminder if they haven't paid. And then if they haven't paid within 48 hours, I'll cancel the request. So, but I reach out to them. I've only had a handful of people not pay. And I don't know what the reason for that was, or, if something, they just changed their mind and they didn't send me a message, but it typically hasn't been a big problem.
Do we have any other questions at the moment?
No, none that I see.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so we have Sydney's email right there. So if you guys have any questions for her that you think of later on, I know sometimes in the moment it's hard to think of any questions, but there's her contact information, hello@audaciouspittsburgh.com. And then for us, we have our contact information here. So we have our regional website for Pitt State Small Business, and then we have our statewide website at kansassbdc.net. We also have a list of COVID-19 resources for small businesses, and the same information is on the state website as on the local website. So either one, you'll get that same duplicate information.
And it's really good stuff. I was very appreciative when you guys made that list. It was really helpful.
Oh, good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
A lot of time. I was up to like 3 o'clock in the morning the first couple weeks. Just
I'm sure.
keeping up with everything.
But it's very helpful. So yeah, you guys have great resources, and especially, I think my last thing, like Mindy said, get a Google listing. If you don't have it, it's the easiest thing in the world. You don't even need a website, but it at least helps people find you, and you can you can make posts on it. So it's like another social media channel. So if you do nothing else, contact Mindy and set up a Google listing.
Yes, absolutely. If you don't have a website, at least have that. Very important. And it's free, so it doesn't cost anything to do. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sydney. And
thank you
who joined us today. And we will be sending out a copy of this presentation, and everyone who attended today will also get a link to a survey. It'll take less than a minute to fill out, but it just kind of lets us know how we're doing, if these webinars are good to continue doing, if you learned anything. So you'll get a copy of that and the presentation. So thank you guys so much for being here, and enjoy your weekend.